Who is responsible or guilty for the nuke explosion after Mr. Prepper's takeoff at the end of the game? Is it the Serpent satellite, or Mr. Prepper's rocket, or maybe the Minuteman, or it's simply John Wick? The answer is in the game, so be prepared to find out. Well, the devs did not give us a straight answer, neither the storyline, so many question marks were raised in the minds of the player. Who is responsible for that atomic explosion? Let's take it logically and analyze all the clues that we have. The answer is somewhere in the game details. So be prepared for spoilers. Let's start by analyzing the clues from the mysterious Minuteman's letters. In the first one, at the beginning of the game, he suggested Mr. Prepper that the only way to escape Murikaville is through a homemade rocket. Minuteman also sent Mr. Prepper a rocket picture as a gift of inspiration. In the second Minuteman's letter, he wrote that he wants Mr. Prepper to procure him some objects and stuff hard to obtain in normal conditions, maybe illegal objects. Here the collaboration with Minuteman starts. In the letter number 3, things start to get some shape. The Minuteman's its interest to learn about nuclear warfare and its consequences, book or magazine. Since this is a quite challenging request because of the rules of the government regime, these requests raise some questions mark in my mind as a player. Well, the letter number 4 came with more stronger clues about what is happening. The Minuteman requested a Geiger counter. So, when you hear Geiger counter, that means something radioactive, right? The first thoughts were that the Minuteman is working with some radioactive materials. Why he asked for such a object if he didn't? First, a book about nuclear warfare, then this Geiger counter. Oh man, this guy is up to something big. The letter number 5 is very suggestive on what Minuteman is up to. He wrote in the letter that he feels more prepared after he received the Geiger counter. Prepared for what? Is he making some atomic experiments? He discovered an atomic storage? What? On letter number 7, on the other hand, there is something worth mentioning. The surveillance agency took interest in Minuteman's behavior and they are tracking him. As a consequence, Minuteman left his house and he retreated who knows where. The things get serious at this point. Well, from this letter we discovered that the foreign powers are in alert stage because of the real purpose of the Serpent satellite project. Well, this starts to smell as a threat. Is there a nuclear war coming? Well, the letter number 8, the final one, is very strange indeed. Here we find out that Minuteman has a hideout somewhere and the government agents are on his track. So there will be just a matter of days or hours until he will be discovered. Also, the Minuteman needs some serious firepower to face off the agents sent to take him down. This was the final request for Mr. Prepper. From this point, we won't hear anything from the Minuteman until the end of the game, before the Mr. Prepper takes off. What is the Minuteman up to, or what he has discovered to be tracked so hard by the agency? Well, the answer is right in the final dialogue with Mr. Prepper, where the Minuteman is revealing his real ID. Now comes the mysterious part and the link to all these puzzle elements. During the dialogue, the Minuteman gave us some very subtle clues about what's happening, especially when he says, "I had access to source more reliable than our truth, and the Brazen Serpent project doesn't affect only our great country, Now, this raises a confirmation to the clues mentioned in the letters. He warned Mr. Prepper that a foreign attack is imminent. Next, the agent Minuteman is asking Mr. Prepper to take him with in the rocket. The Minuteman is concerned about the danger in which Murikaville is and if the whole country will survive. So, there is a nuclear attack imminent, and the Minuteman knows that. After the last dialogue between Mr. Prepper and Minuteman, right before Mr. Prepper boarding in his homemade rocket, a strange loud jet engine noise can be heard in the background. So, what that could be? Just a big plane passing by? Or is just another clue? Now, the whole story started to have sense. Right after Mr. Prepper's takeoff, the end scene was interrupted by the nuke explosion scene. During the explosion, you can hear the noise of a failing air bomb. So, the conclusion might be that the bomb was dropped by the plane who just passed by before Mr. Prepper's takeoff. Also, during the explosion scene, you have noticed the exclamation of the agent Minuteman. I have been right about it. So, he was prepared for this aftermath and he tried to warn also Mr. Prepper. Also, this is the reason why the Minuteman wanted to escape along with Mr. Prepper. Well, in conclusion, let's put all the clues in a single line so you understand the whole puzzle. The Minuteman is working for a government agency as a secret agent. He has access to information that are confidential to the rest of the citizens. He is concerned that the Brazen Satellite project is affecting also other foreign countries. That can lead to a conflict between the United States and others. He decided to make some secret investigation. First, is studying the effects of a nuclear warfare with the help of the book provided by Mr. Prepper. After, he goes even further and discovered a nuclear storage, maybe, and he wanted to be sure and used a Geiger counter to check it, which confirmed his suspicions. Now, the whole agency started to take interest in Minuteman's strange actions and started to track him. He left his house and hid somewhere where he cannot be easily found. Meanwhile, the Minuteman sends Mr. Prepper clues and information to help him with his rocket construction, seeing this as the only alternative to escape together. When things get very ugly and the Minuteman knows that foreign attack can be imminent, he decided to reveal herself with his true identity and asked Mr. Prepper to help him by taking him also in the rocket. Denied by the Prepper, his only chance could be to use Mr. Prepper's bunker as a new hideout, since the agency was on his track. Mr. Prepper escapes in his rocket, the Minuteman agent remains in Murikaville and the nuke explosion scene takes place, and the only option to survive is use Mr. Prepper's abandoned bunker. Well, okay, this storyline is very twisted, and this was the logical explanation of. I am sure that more answer will be discovered in the next DLC of Mr. Prepper, because this is obviously unfinished story. I hope this video managed to understand the mystery of the storyline, and thank you for watching. Here is Gaming Hangar, and I hope you like this video, and we will see you next time, you preppers.